back by popular demand. This is the Turnbucklepad Podcast on YouTube.com. Respect wrestling or get out.
My guest this week is another one of the phenomenal talents they have there. He's known as the Pembroke Pitbull. Please give it up and welcome my guest today, Mr. Baron Bullard. Baron, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. How's the business treating you? You know, you've been there for 13 years. I'm sure you're seeing some things you like and you don't.
I've learned it's treating me fair because there's like anything, and you'll come in and you'll be promised the world, and you realize promises don't always go through, and you'll have opportunities promised to you, and they don't always fall through, but also you'll get unexpected opportunities and unexpected surprises. So all I can say is it's treating me fair. I have to take the good with the bad.
That's exactly it. And I wish more people who came into this business or who are in the business had that mentality, because the business really just, it's not the same as it used to be. You know, it's really, really changed. What are some of the changes you think that were good for wrestling and bad for wrestling?
That's the thing, like, what becomes popular is very good sometimes, but anything that becomes popular can also be bad because it oversaturates it. Take, for instance, Stone Cold Steve Austin, so to speak. Now everybody thinks, okay, if I come in, I got to swear to get over, drink beer, and that's what people think now how a face gets over, when back in the day, stereotypically, Stone Cold was technically a face, but now there's no white meat baby faces anymore, like a Ricky Morton or a Ricky Steamboat, when everybody thinks, I'm looking too weak or too vulnerable, when that's not the case. Like, everyone can't be invincible. Like, I love Samoa Joe to death, but, like, a lot of guys come in, they're not Samoa Joe's size, but they think they can go in there and wrestle like Samoa Joe and throw guys around, but you're not Samoa Joe's size. And at the same time, what's missing a lot is psychology. And I'm not going to say psychology doesn't necessarily work in the whole. Nobody knows how to tell who's a face, who's a heel anymore. Nobody knows how to tell a story, but yet you ask them who some of their favorites are, and their favorites are great, phenomenal workers, but I don't know what they were studying, because obviously it wasn't their favorites on how to work, because a lot of the guys have no psychology anymore. They're more worried about the flash than they are the substance.
So you think there needs to be more people learning to be original and unique as opposed to doing what's already been done?
Exactly, because a great analogy is, you know, I'm pretty sure you've seen the business throughout the years. The act becomes hot, somebody will replicate it. And many people try to do a Raven type gimmick or Jeff Hardy or whatever. Here's the thing, if you want to stand out, that's what made them stand out. They were the first guys to do them. I can never be Mike 2.0. I'm Baron Bullard. So if I try to replicate you, all I'm going to do is come off at best is a knockoff. So why even be you as a knockoff? I can take qualities of someone I admire and add a twist and shape them to fit my personality, and that becomes unique and new. But if Vince McMahon wants somebody, he's going to hire an original. Why settle for a knockoff Jeff Hardy or knockoff whoever when Vince can just contact the original who's got the formula down perfect already?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think if wrestling history has proven anything to relate to what you're talking about, if you take back to, what was it, like the 90s or early 2000s when Nash and Hall left for WCW, they brought in two knockoffs. And it just wasn't the same. It was the fake Kane, and I don't know who the other guy was that was doing Scott Hall.
The guy that was Scott Hall was actually a pretty good worker himself, and he was known as Big Titan in Japan, and had a pretty good career in Japan, actually. And as fake Diesel turned out to be Kane, which tells you how great he is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, if you find who you are, you'll have way more success in trying to be a knockoff of someone else. I mean, there's plenty of unique characters out there now. We're all special human beings, and there can only be one of you. And if you're comfortable with you can demonstrate that to make a difference. You can't make a difference being the same or being someone else that's already done it. You can make a difference by being different. You're different. I'm different. Be yourself and turn up the volume, and you're going to stand out a whole lot more than being somebody who was trying.
Very, very true. Was that something that you were trained with and you were taught when you first came into the business, or was that something you picked up as you were, pursuing your dream?
I can say it was part of both, because like George South trained me, and Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat and Bobby Eaton would come to class all the time because I was training with their son. And if you know anything, Ric Flair's been emulated a ton too. You see guys by roads. I do these shows, and like my trainer would stress, you don't know who you are yet you haven't developed who you are. So don't be worrying about a gimmick or an idea. Wait till you discover who you are.
Yeah.
And I realized I'm not Ric Flair, I'm not Ricky Steamboat. And like I would go to these shows, and I'd see a guy with a cheap-looking Hobby Lobby made robe coming out strutting with their hair dyed blonde, trying to act like Ric Flair. And I put my hand over my face because I was more embarrassed for them and their family because it was horribly done. It wasn't like somebody with Buddy Landell who people thought was ripping off Ric Flair, but Buddy Landell was his own character. Even though he called himself a Nation 4-2, he was technically not ripping off Ric Flair because he didn't do the figure four like Ric Flair did. He done that spinning elbow, that corkscrew elbow. He did several other things. He differentiated himself from Ric Flair. While you'll see guys try to emulate Ric Flair to the point that it's embarrassing. And the thing is, when you come off trying to copy someone too much, it's sad, and not in a humorous way. It's just, you feel bad for the guys because they don't realize the image that they're portraying to other people's perception.
Right. Yeah, the fans nowadays, it's a whole new breed of wrestling fans now. They know too much. They can pick up something that normally wouldn't have been able to be picked up on, like back in like the 80s, 70s, 60s. So I see what you mean. The fans nowadays, they'll notice that who you're trying to be and who you're imitating and who you're ripping off of. Because the fans are so much smarter nowadays, does that make it harder to be a wrestler or easier to be a wrestler?
Honestly, it makes it harder because, like for instance, I have a martial arts background. I've done some martial arts, and I've heard fans say stuff like rest holds, and I want to go ahead and put an end to this right now. There is no such thing as a rest hold, and I will tell you why. I hammer a lot for this. I've heard somebody say, oh, he's grabbing another rest hold. Now, if you're getting in a fight and a police officer bends your arm behind your back, he's probably hurting you. That's the exact same thing as a hammer lock.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as kids, you've seen it a many times, kids get in a fight and want to get the best of the other, and they get them in a headlock. And I've heard fans say, oh, another rest hold. But if your older brother or cousin had you in a tight headlock, you're not resting, you're not relaxed. But they get on the internet and they learn, if I get you in a hole, they think you're resting or you're lazy, when here's the reality. I'm got the best at the time. If I'm got you in a hole, then you're hurting. But you can't tell some of these fans some of these things because they read it on the internet or they read it from some wrestlers exposed in the business book. So surely they know what they're talking about. They figure, hey, I'm a smart or whatever, when the reality is, that's the stupidest thing ever. There's no smart marks or nothing like this. Because half folks don't even know what the meaning of mark really even means.
Yeah, right? I still heard that term thrown around.
And that's like, I hear, we'll become an age where they think we're an age of information when it's really an age of misinformation. Because they're talking about, do your homework, study the facts. The thing is, when you're getting your facts and learning your information from the wrong person, using that as if it's the gospel and it's 100% fact, and then you're just spreading misinformation, assuming it's correct.
Yeah, that's very true. Let me ask you, because I'm curious, where was Baron Bullard born? The wrestler.
Well, the wrestler actually started straight out of high school and went to Nashville, Tennessee, and I started training with TNA. Or should I say it's Impact now that there's new owners. But this was before the Spot TV, before Fox Sports. Like when it was weekly pay-per-views every Wednesday night, I just started TNA in Nashville when I was 18, and I trained there for about a year, and I had some family issues, and I had to take about a year and a half, 2 years off, and then I ran across George South, and I started going to Charlotte every Tuesday night training with George South.
Okay.
So I've been fortunate. I trained in the big league, so to speak. Well, if you want to call TNA in the beginning stages of the big league, because they had Jeff Jarrett and Raven and AJ Styles before he become the big name that he is when he was still mainly an independent guy just making waves. So I've been around like every style of wrestling. So, and I get, people say, "Oh man, you don't like a certain style." I've been around it, but I like wrestling that tells a story. Every style can, but a lot of guys, like how I said about Samoa Joe, you can go out there and emulate someone, but and still not know what you're doing. And that's what a lot of guys do nowadays. So.
Yeah, I understand. It can be depressing at times, but once in a while, though, amongst all the imitators, you do get a couple people that slip through there that actually do stand out.
Exactly. And I see it all the time. Like I tell people all the time, no matter what show you go to, you will find someone there that is really good, and you also find someone there that makes you scratch your head on why they're there. And then at times you'll see guys that the fans are behind, the fans love. But, deep down inside, we were really, truly honest about it. You had an old school wrestler that was telling you the truth on what they thought about this person. They'd say that was probably one of the worst matches they've ever seen. But we're living in a time where it's better to be cool and sit and tell the truth and fix things.
Yeah, there seems to be way too much of that going on. So what's been like one of the highlights of your career so far? I mean, do you have like some favorite moments or favorite matches you can share with us?
I reckon the highlight is being respected by some of the guys I grew up watching. And I don't want to say what my favorite matches is, but because it would feel like I might be forgot one or disrespecting somebody. But like some of my favorite matches has been with guys like Steve Corino, Chase Stevens. I always have fun with Barbarian, Manny Fernandez. I actually trained with Cedric Alexander and had some of my favorite matches with him. I mean, like, I've had favorite matches with a lot of guys. A guy named Johnny Smooth I've had great matches with, and me and him now teaming up mostly. I've had good matches with Sean Cruz, Zany, Dave Dawson, Charlie Dreamer. There's so many guys I've had great matches with that, it's just a pleasure being in the ring with. But without a doubt, great honor and best memory I have is knowing I've got some of those guys to respect. That they know me on a first-name basis. When they see me, they shake my hand or hug my neck, tell me how good it is to see you. And hope tonight y'all's wrestling each other. Because the thing is, I can go put a belt on anybody. You can go online and order a belt or whatever. That doesn't matter as much because that can be bought and that can be ordered. I can't order or buy someone's respect that I grew up watching or someone that I've seen come up with me and we both looked at that, but you ain't got to respect nobody, and I can give you $100 every day for the rest of my life, and you may never respect me. But if I respect you, that's something money can't buy. That's the greatest thing ever. I mean, your trainer looks at you and says he's proud of you, says you're like one of his kids, and the guys you grew up watching respect you, you're on a first-name basis. That's the highlight for me. I mean, I hope to get to WWE, New Japan, and some of these places one day, but that's never going to top seeing Barbarian being in the dressing room. Hey, better, you're watching tonight, brother. Hopefully it's me, or seeing Manny Fernandez name pop up on your phone, him calling you just a wish you a Merry Christmas, and you talk about it and sing you in the while.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that means a whole lot more than any accomplishment I could get. I mean, because, like I said, any accomplishment that can be gave to you, you know, ball or whatever, but when you get someone's respect, that's something that's greater than anything else.
Yeah. You know, it really sounds like you're one of them people that enjoy the simple things and the things that make things really nice. You know, like you said, things you can't buy. And I think wrestling needs a lot more of that, because I think philanthropy is going to be the way of marketing in the near future. So it's good to be good to people, and good karma comes back to you. So Baron, we got a question for you. We ask this to all our guests. We've been doing it for every season. What advice would you give to somebody that's new or somebody that wants in the business?
If somebody's new and wants in the business, I tell them you got to want it and you got to need it. Because we can all say we want something, and then all of a sudden we get discouraged, like, maybe I really don't want it. But when you need something, feel like you got to fight a little bit harder. Because I've had people, like my parents growing up, they'd always say you have to have a plan B. And people say, what's your plan B? I said, my plan B is the same as my plan A. And I said, I can't do nothing else except for make it, because there's nothing else. This is what I also feel I was put on earth to do. And it might sound cliche, because if you have any doubts, and we're going to have doubts and all, but if you're, in the end, you're thinking, okay, if this don't work out, I'm going to do this. No, it's natural to have doubts, and man, I can't believe what am I going to do? It might not work out. But if you're already thinking, okay, well, I'll do this, I don't know what I do, but I don't make it right, honestly. That's the reason, you know, I'm up countless nights, driving across countless states. I mean, I've gone through 5, 6 jobs. I've gone through 7 or 8 cars. Like, 1 year alone, I put 80,000 miles on the car. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. You got to want it. You got to need it. You got to look at this as if it's a drug. A lot of people commit crimes to get the drug of choice. And that's the thing about us. I ain't telling people to commit no crime. You got to be able to look and say, hey, I'm going to miss time with family. I'm going to miss family functions. I'm going to miss sleep. I'm going to miss a lot of comfort in life. But I need it and I want it. And you're going to lose friends. You're going to lose relationships. Like I tell people, I've lost relationships. I've missed funerals. I was even supposed to be a best man at a wedding, but I didn't get to do that because I went to a show. I've missed proms. I've missed all kind of stuff. I've missed my brother graduating college. But you got to think how bad you want it. And sometimes you won't feel like a jerk, but a lot of times, believe it or not, your family will see how bad you want it and need it bad enough. They'll see that passion. And some guys will tell you they want it, and then they get discouraged because things ain't been going their way. 13 years, things ain't been going my way necessarily, because here's the thing, when I walk outside my car right now, it's not a Ferrari or a Dodge Viper or whatever. It's a nice car, but it's no $100,000 car. I'm not living in a big mansion. I'm not got a guaranteed contract. If I shatter my leg right now, Vince McMahon's not paying for my surgery. The promoter I'm working for tonight is not paying for my surgery. It's a risk you got to take. You know what it entails, and you just got to want it and need it bad enough. I mean, you got to realize at this here point, it almost becomes your life. And like my trainer, George South, he's got 5 kids. I forgot how many grandkids he's got at this here point. I think he's got 4 or 5. But he's been doing this 40-some years. And he's been away. Any man wants to be around their kids at the holidays and birthdays. But he's provided a life for his family as much as his business.
Right.
He's never made the money like The Rock or Stone Cold, but he's able to take care of his family and his kids. And that's the thing you got to realize, need it and want it, because when his first son was born, he goes like, I got to be at home, my son's born. I get that hurts human emotion, but he also got to realize his son needed shelter above him, and his son needed clothes and all, and that's where he busted his butt wrestling, and that's where he paid the bills, done what needed to be done. And
Yeah.
We're living in an entitled time where they want instant gratification or they want stuff handed to them, and that's the thing. You can't just want it anymore. I used to hear it from when I first started, you got to want it. And I've always wanted it. I've wanted it since I could walk. But the thing is, I realize now you've got to do more than just want it, because sometimes when you don't get what you want, you just explode. You also got to need to. You got to be like an addict, like I said, willing to do just about whatever it takes to make it. Because wanting it is not good enough. You got to want it and need it.
Very, very good words. Thanks for sharing those with us. If fans wanted to find you and keep up, with current matches and current locations you'll be showing up at, how can fans follow you?
I'm on Facebook. I don't know the exact URL, but it's under my real name, Baron Bullard. I'm on Twitter, @Baron Bullard. I have an Instagram at Baron Bullard. And as far as YouTube goes, like a lot of the groups put up videos. I don't have technically I got a YouTube channel, but it's not really nothing on there. But as far as social, like I said, Baron Bullard, I keep it simple. I just use my name.
Understandable. Well, fans, we're at that time again. We gotta call it a day. And I know we've been having a lot of fun. It's been really cool getting to spend some time with you, Baron, and getting to pick your brain and hearing your thoughts and opinions. Fans, if you're gonna be a wrestler or something like that, I suggest you listen to guys like this, because they're not telling you anything that's going to steer you wrong. Most of the time in this business, your education is going to come from your own experience. But you do want to listen to those who came before you. So in the meantime, fans, I want to take time to thank Mr. Baron Bullard for coming on the show. I'm your host, Mike Stover, and we're out.